we have access to so much information. And part of that for me this year is grieving the loss of Sasha, have her come through as Serafina to continue to do what I do. And when I'm online with you all in these masterclasses, it adds to the energy when you're around other people and you're in a beautiful vessel of light for this. So much more comes through it, so much more powerful. And as I was saying earlier before I started recording, I was sitting in bed this morning with Sasha, who now comes through as Serafina. She's a part of my healing team when I do my one-to-one sessions in my chamber of light. And I see her as Sasha. I see her as she was before she passed, and calmly sitting with me. So that's nice to know that she's here just holding my hand. Archangel Gabriel, who is my strength. He is the one that helps me. I suppose he helps me be a good person as a wife and a mum, and dealing with what I've been going through this year and having other people say certain things to me. It sometimes they land with a bit of a lead balloon, and I can only experience my grief and they can only experience their grief and their circumstances. So he comes through and he helps me to stay in my space and connect with my team, which he's a part of, and to go quiet, just to shut the doors. When I first started doing light work, I moved away from my family and moved away from my human aspects so I could listen to my team and learn my team and learn how to listen to my team and to create these frequency um, fields. And one was a cave space. So I would go into my cave space with my dragon, Aragon, and my guides, Archangel Gabriel, would stand at the door and let me be so badly behaved, but I was in my space. And you stay there until you can be connected with your spirit self, which is what these masterclasses are about. It's about having your human aspect and also um, mirroring that so you can see yourself more clearly. You can see what you're doing, and that gives you a big perspective of what's going on. Feeling your body, feeling where you are with your mental and emotional layers as well as spirit self. So my spirit self, I have come to know her as Nahika. So the same for Sasha, and in her form, her spirit, her life force energy is Serafina. So now that Sasha's passed, I no longer have access to Sasha, but I have access to the spirit of Sasha Serafina, who is very much the Sasha. So they're the same, but not in human form anymore. So my Nahika will come through and she will be so calm and quiet with me, but also connect me to what is the truth, what is creative energy, not my ego and mine, not my story, my frustration with others. It's very much giving me the space to calm the mind and the body and feel that sigh within my body vessel enough to have her show me if it's an issue with another person, to show me the broader perspective to it of um, that's their story and this is my story. And what we're creating is energy. And do we actually want that energy in our life? And so having the space to tune in with my team in the source self as Vicky communicating with Nahika, I can then settle and let the story go. And it allows you to be a better person alongside my spirit self. It takes me a breath to tap into Nahika, to tap into my spirit self, even though it takes me a lot longer to come into these containers of light that I tune into with the masterclasses, and having everything set up in the space, having my crystals around me, having the fact that someone else is joining me magnifies the frequency. So what I'm going to do throughout this masterclass is, if you've been on any of the other ones, is like I'm doing now, I'm tuning in, I'm waiting for my team to come around, and Gabriel Zariel, so the afterlife angel, and Sasha Serafina, my beings are slowly starting to come in. The dragon energies are starting to come in and curl up. And I'm feeling my space. If you can feel your feet on the ground and start wriggling your toes and move yourself in your seat and just check that you've got your phones off and you've got your water handy, and start to feel this sort of a buffering around you that is, it's a frequency and energy. Your human mind and body is slightly softening to be feeling into these energies around you, and whatever they are to you, whatever your creative energy is, however you put yourself together. For me, like I say, dragons and fairies and different beings, as well as the archangels, they come into space. And it's not that they are on me or in me, they are with me in the space. So I can, the little baby dragons, like I feel I'm about to cry. Got my tissues handy. Sasha, when she was sad and upset, and she'd be lying in bed, and the little baby dragons would curl up around her neck, and I feel them coming in around me now because they don't have her. Thought I'd get a bit further. They don't have her. They only have me now, and Natasha, her sister. So we'll let these tears go through. So they're all finding their space, and now I feel nature coming in. So you'll feel, when we go into these transmissions, it's about creating a space in our room and expanding our awareness to noticing these beings around us. And then we're more in our body vessel as our light self. And then I'm getting more distal views of the walk where we go into nature. And for you, you want to create whatever that is for you. The girls, Natasha and Sasha and I, would read this book, Ignis the Dragon, and he was a dragon that couldn't find his flame, and he met this little girl. And so for me, when my guidance goes into nature, I see this dragon wanting to take this little girl for a walk, and they go through a fenced gate and then into the forest, and then they explore. So for me, that's my entrance into Gaia, into nature, where we then expand into the gateway of being more than our humanness. We're going into the frequency of Gaia, the frequency of earthly beings, into this forest or pathway. And as we're walking now, so now I feel like I'm in this pathway, I'm in the forest. So if you can imagine or view with your mind's eye that you are walking a path, it could be a familiar place to you. It could be a place that you've been before in this human life, or it could be one that you're imagining, or it could be following my instructions with my guidance of this, where you just open the gate and you walk into the path and you've got beautiful trees and the forest feels friendly. It's very lush and vibrant. You've got the aroma of the plants, the botanicals. You have the sounds of the birds and the forest animals. And they're in a way where they are not animal and human. You are frequency and energy being walking together. So you understand them. They are communicating with you intuitively. You are all beings of light and you are all open and connecting. So light language for me is one, it's my team coming through to help me be whole and complete and grounded for this transmission. It as well as bringing through light codes that bypass the ego mind. It goes straight into our body vessel for unlocking our DNA strands that are ready to awaken, that are ready to change, as well as clearing from our physical body. Hai tere ki te nana hakai te lala hoku tororo kumana kei. Hai shirere ki te lala hachikaterere ki tororo kumana ki. The elemental frequencies are coming through with the light language. Harere hirere ki, to connect us into our solar system that we are experiencing this life in, to open up the gateways that you can tune into the moon energy, earth energy, and the air and the fire. Lala hachikaterere here ki tarakai hayarere ki, to opening up our brow for further understanding and to reading in information with our brow, just seeing visions. Ala hachikaterere ki, and our voice for expressing ourselves and deeper understanding with self and our heart space for opening up to being one of many, to having the shared universal experience as humanity at this time. Hala hare ki tere here ki re kai. Haere ki re kai. The inner child and the solar plexus, their creativity. Hale chiki tere here ki tere na hakai. Halala heat coming down to the lumbar. So our sense of self, how we see ourselves. And that's communicating with expressing yourself as your best version of self that sometimes we block with the upper chakras, with the thoughts and the understanding, and we can be either distant to self with universal awareness and be all out and the all and nothing can not actually ground it in. So we're channeling through with the light language and the universal awareness of the elemental beings to ground us in. You'll start to feel like your sacral plate to slightly activate, tingling, as well as your legs, your feet, and your ankles tingling. There's so much nervous recalibration through our ankles and our pelvis and our jaw. So as we channel through the chakra systems and into our body vessel, those parts of our system, our body start to move, and you might need to realign how you're seated. Hara hiri ki tara laha ka terere hiti ki tera kai. Haia na horo ko chika te tara kai. Haia lelele he chika tera kai. Narene hi feeling tension in our wrists, we hauriki, speak with our hands and direct ourselves and express ourselves. Hauriki, the ringing in the ears as we attune to new frequency. Hauriki tanahanakai. Hayeriki tenahakai. Toroko opening up the crown to just awaken us to our light vessel, which I call the pot of light, which is as we go through this transmission, we're going to wake up to more of our pot of light and our feeling of this light field around us. At the moment, it could be more close when we're more protecting ourselves and we're not quite settled in our humanness. We hold it quite tight. Therefore, it is harder for us to maneuver in our frequency and balance our mindset and our ego mind and our body mind to not be running away with our thoughts, the train wreck, but more expanding outwardly and then having more experience with our spirit self talking. So there's more energetic field, more buffer around our field so we can lessen the effects and the responses to outside frequencies from others, which whenever I do a post or a YouTube, I can feel people walking through my field of light because they're tuning in with me. And I feel every time someone is tapping into my frequency, I can feel them like walking through me. So if I don't do my own self work, which is ebbs and flows with that, where I'm better at taking care of myself and my energetic field than others. But that's why tere kila the words are not coming, but I wanted to say forceful, but that's not what I'm meaning. It's like I want to express to other people that they are source energy and you have access to that within a breath. And if I didn't have access to that, I don't know whether I'd still be here after the year that I've had. If I didn't have my team just tapping into me so quickly to remind me I've got more to me to use and I still can access Sasha, um, it keeps me on a level keel to keep moving forward, to keep getting up in the morning, to keep doing what I need to do in my life and sharing this experience with others because yes, I've had a loss, but everyone has a story. Everyone has an experience in their life where they struggle on some level, and there's times that are harder than others. So learning your creator energy and learning your cosmic team of just what we've been through with grounding into our bodies and tapping into the moon, the wind, the earth, the forest energies. Tapping into intuitive information through the brow where Archangel Gabriel might come through. Halalala hajikatene hikiteriki, hayere hukotere hineki, kailalala hajikatena, kai turukumandikite, hayalalala hakai. So I feel like Natasha's leading this masterclass, which is really lovely. Both her and Natasha love the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And so we have gone into the forest and with the dragons and the guild, the gateway to walk into the forest, to have the forest energy. And the light language that came through just before was to usher us into the space within the forest for the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And so if you can imagine a wardrobe that's big or small. It could be little cubby hole in a tree. If you close your eyes, you're seeing with your mind's eye the space and clearing around you where you first view the wardrobe, you first view this door, and then once you see it, your energy is carried into the space. You're not looking at it from an outside of the energetic field. You now, once you recognize it, you then are within the energetic field. So then you're within the magic of this gateway. You're in the magic of this door, wherever it's going. And as this masterclass is about clearing away tēnei hikitera, what we've experienced this year of all our challenges or waking up to new things about ourselves, wanting to maybe start something, but then there's other layers about ourselves that's blocking it, that isn't quite ready, but yet it is because you've seen it, you've felt it, you've experienced it. You're starting to tap into these layers of you that you're wanting to build upon. So this masterclass is about clearing that. So you go into a space to clear. You're going into this wardrobe or into this tree, into the magic of it. And part of my walks that I do with my dog Betsy is into this forest track near my house. And I have a fern that I stand underneath her, and her fronds are over me. And had to get there. Her name is Eloise. And when I go into her energy and you are working with forest energies or tree spirits, you can feel the aura, you can feel the vibration of the tree off the trunk. And so that's what you're stepping into as a deeper understanding of stepping into the frequency of this wardrobe. And you can create these alchemical creations, these alchemical, like a lab, a clinical lab, if you want to think of it like that. But when you walk in there as creators, you can step into this wardrobe and you've got all your potions, you've got all your oils, you've got all the fabrics, the tapestries, the crystals, the gems are within that. Tala hejketena hakai, halalala hajketereke. So you still may be on the outside of this door, but yet you have this awareness that there's this magical creative clinic inside the door. Tara hajketena na hakai, hayalalala hakai. So you're stepping up into the doorway and you can open it. The door is a beautiful wooden door. It could have a really solid brass handle on it that you lift that's got real density to it. Hana kia, really create the vision, really create this experience of touch, of smell, activating your human senses. Reiki toroko, what are you feeling under your feet? The soil, you could be barefoot. Reiki, if you've got shoes on, you may want to take your shoes off in the vision. Reiki, reiki toroko namachkiri, lala hachikiri, hayalala hachikiri, reiki. Part of my team are medicine woman, Sunai Khan, and they are sand walkers. So they evolve out of the sand next to people and walk with them to activate their healing properties. So for them, you might start to feel different clothing on you, like your tapestries, heavy cloaks, very Moroccan or Egyptian, Arabic scents, Arabic oils, real ancient oils that you're smelling around you. There's fernery and engraving happening on this door. So as you're walking, it's this alchemical creation of an engravement happening as that is your, it's a bit like Akashic records, but it's as you breathe and activate yourself within this frequency of the door, of the wardrobe, of the forest, they're creating. It's the DNA activation of you on the door. You are this movement, you are this creation, and it's like the tree of life. You can go off in so many different threads, and our pathways in life are many different roads, many different pathways, and one builds onto another, or one could be completely separate, which is Sasha. She has her own life, and now that life for me, that pathway for me is closed in this timeline. So her one is as beautiful as it got with their 18 years. So we have many with our relationships. We have many with our creations, and they're all getting drawn on the oak door or whatever wood it is for you. With the ferns growing, and then the bird life starts coming in because there's more life of you. There's more imprinting of you coming to the door, to the wall of the wardrobe. You're getting more joy and more frequency and more awakenment to be joyful with this experience, to be childlike. The inner child creator essence of you is ready to step into this alchemical cabin. But there's waiting for the guide, waiting for this guardian that is part of you. My guardian that I first woke up to was Aragon the dragon. So you may feel your spinal column sort of tingle and then the being come off your physical form if you're newly awakening, you haven't had a guardian before, or maybe it's a new one that's leading you through this transition of 23 to 24 in this timeline. But as energetic beings, we are all in everything on no time. We're experiencing many timelines at the same time. We're consciously aware of this one in our human self that I call myself Vicky by. So my experience for Aragon was peeling himself off my spine as I woke up to more of my awareness of my spiritual abilities. He no longer needed to be a part of my physical form. I was strong enough and aware sufficient enough to then start walking by myself as my own individual being with him beside me, recognizing him to be his own being. So you may feel this being come off you, whether it's your spinal column, it may not be that for you, or it could be your arms or your legs, or from your right side or from your left side. And they just separate out from you. Whatever the being is for you, whatever your guide is for you. So you're awakening up to this state of self, and this being guardian is separating off you so that you are clean and present as your human self, up leveled now to this new awareness to then walk in. You don't need these guardians on you anymore. You are strong and with it sufficient in your awareness of your spirituality and your human cosmic essence that you can walk through this doorway, possibly. I can only lead forward with what they're showing me. So we needed to release this being from us to walk through the doorway. Yeah, now the doorway's open. So we're in this room and you get to create what the room is for you. It can be really big or it could be really tiny. As you're in it and your senses attune, your human five senses start to attune to it because this is a physical experience. This is your DNA upgrade. Your human is not getting left behind in this experience. You are part of the process. So your smell, your hearing, what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what you're tasting in the space, in the air. Is it fabric? Is it clean? Is it like soil, dirt on the floor? For me, mine's a cave, surprise. Mine's a cave space. So it's like my crystalline chamber where I do my transmissions through. It's a massive chamber. But for you, what is it that you're seeing? And what is it that you're feeling as you explore this place? Taririki. Just calm the mind and wriggle your toes and wander around and be very childlike in the space of what you're seeing and feeling. Haririhi tikitena hakai. Hayalalala hachikitera kai. Tarurukumatichikite. Hayalalala hachikitena hiririki. Hayalalaki. Is there water in there? You could have a pond or a waterfall or river or creeks running in this space. You could have walked through the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. You could walk through to a whole other dimension. It might not just be an alchemical cabin or an alchemical space. You could have walked through to a whole other dimension. Haririhi, what does that look like? Taririhi. This is where your human self gets to heal, gets to release because you're in the magic of creation. Nana hiriri ki terara ki, hayalalale hijiki teriri ki rara kumarara chikiri, hayalala chikiri turu kumana nihene ki terari ki, hayalalala hijiki ro mane hiterala hakai, hayalalala hijiki teriri ki turu kumane hene ki, hayalalala hakateriri ki, nalalala hakai. So the sandwalkers, Sunahakan, medicine women are surrounding you with cloaks and carpets just to give you something to work with, to add to your space. You might start to see a crystal, a formation. If it's a crystal that you've never experienced before and you don't know the name of it, you don't need to know the name with your human self. It'll be intuitively told to you. And this is the learning to listen, to not perceive what you think something is, and that interrupts the flow of source connecting with you when your ego mind says the story. But this is you the other way around, where you're just experiencing this alchemical awakenment. So you are being shown the crystal, you're being shown what is coming forward for you. And if you don't know the name of it, then they will be telling you, the crystal will be talking to you. If you are busy in your mind and all of a sudden you've packed your space full of crystals, because we tend to sometimes do that, just isolate back out with a breath and a wriggle in your feet and come back to the one that is showing itself to you. And allow it to come forward from the many that are in there, to come forward again. And really feel it in your belly, in your gut, your primal human aspect of self, your sense of self. You'll feel yourself go cold as it activates into your vessel. Radiating this crystal vibration of specific uh, coding and specific properties that this crystal holds, that is needed for your development moving forward. And then you might feel a bit uncomfortable in the head, maybe slightly echoey in the ears. Maybe a different body part will start, like an injury or an ailment might start to speak up. Just take a breath and wriggle your body and let the crystal properties radiate through the light codes, through the injury, through the trauma, whatever it is in your vessel. Halalala hakate nehiki tererakai. Dalala hachkate nahariki. Ayalalala hakarere hiriki. Dalalala hakatereki. Ayaya rukutoro mananeki. You might want to sit down in your space, in your vision. Um, Medicine women have provided carpets and rugs and cushions. You're comfortable. You have water. You can rest. You can see yourself. You're witnessing your human self lay down or be seated. Make yourself be cozy. As you rest your body, rest your mind, rest your human senses down to just be solved and healed and calmed. Slight light codes coming through your blood and your venous return as you cleanse your body, cleanse your organs, cleanse your tissues and the layers of your physicality. Cleansing your lymphatics. Activating your skin suit. You might feel your skin get quite tight. You just wriggle, move your jaw, move your hips, and let it move. So the crystal is breaking up into lots of little spheres of light and traveling throughout your body with your DNA strands. Lots of little crystal beings running through your vessel. It's like they're little Pac-Men of the 70s or the 80s, just running through and gobbling up all the toxins. Just eating up all the toxins, all the debris. Ayalalahakai, tenenehikia. Okay, the beings, the other energies in the room, whether it's your other crystals or whether it's the botanicals, the plant energies, feeling very fern-like. So the fern energies and the fairy energies have just come up around us, and they're placing like this Diddy plant cloak that's hooded. So it's going to go settle down on your shoulders and come around you. You're gowned in this botanical plant life. You'll start to smell different florals and botanicals, like the aromatherapy healing that is going to absorb into your skin suit. Calming your mind, calming your ego mind as well as your mindset, as well as these stories that are so intertwined within our life today, is just getting untangled. Untangled and soothed. They're still our stories, so they're not needing to go anywhere. They're a part of our creation, they're a part of our life to date. So they're not going anywhere. They're just unraveling themselves to be clean and light so that you can feel yourself of past experiences a little lighter, with less grudge or less um, negativity. They're just softening. And slowly the gown that is fully over your head and shoulders and body is just absorbed into your vessel as part of your DNA. Help cleansing the lymphatics that cleanses our body, giving more properties and nutritional value to our blood, more oxygen to our vessel. Ulalala hachikadera, nalalala hachikade, ndalala hachikade, nadarihiki, hayalalala hakatena, hakatena reki, hayalalala hachikade, rokumachikade, hayalalala hachikade, rokumachikade, nalala hichikade, telele hikade, rokumachikade, halalala rokum tereriki, nalalala hachikade, hayaliki rokumachikade, dalala hachikade, tuning in with your masculine, your feminine, your inner child. Reiki, universal awareness, your human self that you call yourself by, and your spirit self, your energy, your life force energy, creator energy. Gridding your vessel. Realigning it, and as you realign with this grid work that is coming through from Metatron, you will then be further released of what is no longer of service to you. Closing all circuits of external energies coming into you that are not of your being, that are not of your creator essence, is being released from your vessel and outside. The light has been lifted from you. You can now see, you can now feel your universal and crown essence is wide open. And it feels good. It feels like your vessel is just open and complete and free. Halala chikiterere kitarara kaitara no kuchitikitla chikre narare heriki. Hayalala hachikne here heriki. Hayalala hakate na hikireki kara chikiti. We la 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 hikite narala hakate nayara kaindereki. We la 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 hakate ne hikite tereki. Hayalala hachikitereki. The room in the Riki that you're in, this little woodrobe, the alchemical cabin, is now opened. It's like the ceiling has opened, if it was one of those ones that had a ceiling on it. Tararihiriki, tararakai, hairariki, rakumararihiriki. So much sunlight is coming through, and breeze and frequency of fresh new growth, fresh new light. Tararihiki, hayalala hateriki, ndoriki, nahalala hakai, hayana hanaha kai terehiki, nanahakai. You're now feeling more like you're going to a different, maybe a different timeline or a different awareness of self within nature, still within this earthly realm, but you have access to your universal connections of feeling the blue sky, the sea, the height. It's like you're soaring or you're standing on the cliff top to just expand and be in wonderment of the space and the availability to what you have access to is free, is open, is so accessible. That sense of peace that is flowing over your body vessel. There's still the slight storyline of ego mindset that wants to protect the. So you might get shudders of tightness or achiness in your body, and it's just resonating. Your physical form is slightly resonating to the new upgrades, this new availability of peace and freedom, freedom and possibility that we may have blocked ourselves from over this last few years. And it's a strange concept to our mind that all is possible. The sense of harmony and abundance. So the ego tends to step in and just likes to make itself known. It doesn't need to. It's quite content. You let it know it's you're safe. So you might start to feel a pressure in your forehead, in your sternum and in your shins as you move forward, as you step into your creative space, as you step into creating whatever you're wanting to create next in your life. And again, we can bring back in the veins and the pathways and the storylines and the trees of life, the one tree of life with many branches, many roads, or it could be a stream, the water frequency. Is starting to become more aware and to carry us as we journey through creating something, journey through the possibility of what we're seeing in this space of this cliff face, of this openness. Harehireki, hayerehireki, tanana hakai, nalala hajiketere hiriki tararakai, hayalala hajiketena kai, hayalala hokutunanehiki, bayerehiriki, hayalala hajiketereki, bayerehiriki, hayalala hajiketi, giving a vortex, a spiral of energy where, as you're creating in this vision, in this activation, we're grounding it into your root. We're grounding it into your physical form, your pelvis, your sense of self. If you feel your hands in this activation of your left hand as the holder of the frequency and the right hand as the mover with the spiraling, you're calling as you quickly go through this journey, you're seeing, you're experiencing, your DNA is upgrading into these creations and you're grounding it in. You're grounding it into your vessel of light. You're grounding it into your bodysuit so that it is here, it is real, it is in the now, it is happening. Tararahiriki, tararaka, ndalala, chikate, hakai, tarakai, tararakuturukum. Ayalala, hachikate, dara, hachikate, nananihiki. Ayalala, kuturukum, pereki, tarakai. Ayalala, hakadariki, tara, hachikate, nanara, hachikate. Ayalala, kutenanihiki, feeling like your child self sitting in this vista, in this view, experiencing this creative wonder and holding like a base for this energy to flow into, to be held within, to give it a direction to come to. Dalala hajkitiriki, hayalala hajkitiri. You may feel grass under yourself as you sit down. Is a time to lie back and just daydream, star dream, look at the clouds. Haririki, be in the enjoyment of this wonderful creation of pathways, of creativity, of sense of self. Hayalalala hajkitiri, releasing all that is not and creating and getting to know all that is. Hayalalaha, with yourself, with your source energy, with your creator energy, your spirit self and your human self. Hayrerehirereki, tararakai, rerikiraraka, dalalachkitiraraki, tararahapachetiskitirakai. Hayalalaha. Your being, your cosmic team come around you and sit with you, keeping you company, that you're never alone moving forward. Tararihiriki, tarariki, tararaki. They are always with you. Hayalalahachkitirariki, harerehireriki. This is a time for you to physically be upgraded to know that they're there. Looking to your left and to your right and seeing the beings that are there. Who are they? Let them introduce themselves to you if you're not familiar with them. If you are familiar with them, just be so joyful that you're in their space consciously. And then you get to the word that wants to come through is party. You get to be joyful with them, to chat and explore, and to have a group activation of you and your beings and your guardians and your guides all there in this space. On this cliff space with the ocean and the sky, or the moon and the bush and the forest. This is when dedicare, the medicine woman will start bringing food out. So you're eating, you're digesting this activation, your gut is processing it. Haririki, ririki, tururuku, tarachikite, talalahakate, hayalalahachikite, teriki, nuilananahakai, hayalalahachikite, nanahakai, hayalalahachikite, rarakai, tarachikite, ririki. What are you drinking? You're sharing food, you're sharing drink. Taririki, talalahakai, taririki. You're sharing stories that are here to care of you and all timelines and your connections with these beings. Hayarareki, and knotting up this new coding for you to walk from this activation. The walk on from this experience with conscious knowing that you are not alone, that you are part of a bigger team, that are here to care. And whenever you need them, they're here on all of their properties and qualities. That are here to care, that are kai, that are here to care, that are kai, that are chikiti, that are kai. Hayalala, chikiti, rakai, that are ki, trokundaraba chikiti. Hayalala, chikiti, rakat, that are ki, that are ki, that are kaupa, chikiten, and a hakai. Starting in strategies for moving forward, for being present with self, and for escaping procrastination, for being fearful or scared about moving forward. You've got the dedicated times when you first get up in the morning where you can recreate this experience of sitting with your team and feel them come around you. As the thoughts of the day start forming the tick list, you can always just take a breath and come into this, what this feels like, what this space and energy feels like with the breath coming in and out of your body and the fresh air feeling on your skin. You just close your eyes, you get up in the morning, put your feet on the floor, both feet at the same time on the floor, left and right. Here, and you wriggle your bottom, and then you just like, right, team, what have we got on today? So that's starting the day, ending the day is tuning in with your team before bed, quiet time, take a breath and give thanks for the experiences, for just, or even for myself, it's tuning in with my team of being accountable, or for how I've let my mind run riot with me. And then I come back, and then I can revisit those situations of a memory of my Snahika Vicky self, as well as my team, to just let it go, because they're with me. They're connecting my source energy. They're connecting my light of self. It's just an experience, and it gets to go in the evening, and you can feel them around you. You can plan out what you're wanting to create for the next day as you sit on the bed with your team at night. Checking in with your day and then planning for the next day. What is it that you've done that you don't want to repeat? What is opening up for next steps? What do you want to do next? Working towards a bigger goal, a bigger desire, a bigger change within self, your own self development, your own awareness with your team, which to me is spirituality. Who is it that's coming through? What are they saying to you? What is something that you've always worked with that is not of this earthly realm, that is changing because you're changing? Everything goes ebbs and flows. Bringing in more awareness of yourself and your space, as I, Vicky, start to talk with the change of Eloise, my fern, with the process of Asha's passing. She Eloise completely changed from a cabin up in the woods to being brought down the mountainside where I wasn't as able to escape so far away from my family or friends. I had to come back to this area because they needed me. Halachikadera, so the cabin was lower down the mountainside. And then it wasn't so much a cabin, it was more an open field that was surrounded by like a carnival scene of tents, whereas each tent I went into, I got a different alchemical creation. It was a different property of me, a different essence of what I was as creator energy and a bringer of light. I could go in and activate myself in different tent. And then Eloise and Sasha's energy would be sitting on the far side of the field on this cabin steps, and they'd just be looking at me as their beautiful selves. Arariki going, "Oh, we're pretty proud of her. She's accepted that she has to move down the mountainside." Arariki. It's to now then the cabin dissolved after Sasha. There's and then I had to work out how to move forward again. So each time we upgrade, each time we become more aware of ourselves, what we knew to be true changes. So we can't use our spirituality and our practices as a crutch. Like that is always going to be like that because we are human, we are changing, we're evolving all the time. So therefore, our abilities of connections to source energy and spirituality is always changing too. So this is where our mindset can block that change. And this is what we're wanting to activate in the session that you now step through into this alchemical cabin and this hut or whatever you want to call it with the properties of the crystals or the oils or the plants or the water or the trees. And it's life force energy that we get to create it again from. But we know we need to access it through ourself first, through our mindset and our chatter and our story. And then slowly our spirit self will come in and lead us through and create these visions of the forest, of the either a tree or either a cabin. And then you're through the cabin, but you need to be invited in. Like when we were going into the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the door, there was a lot that needed to happen before we could just open the door and walk in. We needed to be invited. Our team needed to do something more with us, which is what it was with activating the guardian or our beings from our vessel, so that we were solely our person going through this without any other being attached to us. And the beautiful botanical and plant life from the fairies and the ferns as Gaia's cloak coming down on us. Hapachikitenehiki, hayalalala hakatenehiki, hayalalala hakadiriki, toronkopachikitiriki. Walking through and then it all opening up, and then we experience the harmony and the freedom and the abundance of being ourselves and creating and knowing that it's safe to create and needing to calm the ego again. So coming back into your breath, into your body, you might need to take a drink of water. Settling down into your body vessel. Feeling the creative inner joy, inner child of the crystal that came through for you. I don't know how'd you get there. If you don't have a true full awareness of that, then you can, with the recording of this, you can watch it again. But you have experienced this, so it takes just you to go into a quiet space and tune in with the energy of it, calming the mind and the body so the mind is quieter, and then you will get more communication with the crystal. It'll start to talk to you more. It'll access different parts of your chakra system or your organs or your body system, and it'll allow you to have more intuitive awareness and knowledge of truth with it, of what it means for you and what your purpose is with it. So I feel my shins are got this buzz and hum on them. Sasha used to come through and just lean over me and hug me. I just felt a big hug from her, so that was nice. Yeah, have a stretch, have a move around.